What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade basketball analysis coming to y'all with a quick video. We're going to talk about Steph Curry, Draymond Green, the duo that have won multiple championships together, been through the ups and downs, being a good team, great team, championship team, all-star, all NBA teams together. But coming into this year, I thought that they would definitely be a lock for the playoffs just because I thought that they had enough to get one of the lower spots. I didn't look at them as a contender. I didn't look at them as a great team. I just looked at them as a team that's good at best, okay. And that's good enough to get you one of the six, sevens, or eight spots because of the playing. You can get hot. You can win two games against other teams like Memphis and the Pelicans or the Mavericks, who are around the same area as the Warriors, talent wise, when healthy. And Steph Curry was the driving force for my decision to put the Warriors in, and he has lived up to that hype, as I thought he would come in as the best point guard in the game, even though he missed majority of last season, if not all of it. And he basically backed it up, going on a 30-point, 30-point game streak, just went for 40 again tonight against my Celtics, even though unfortunately they lost. But what he has done is incredible. I had no expectations, but for him to be the best point guard. I had no expectations, but for him to be one of the top 10 players in the league, because that's what he is and that's what he has been for so long, that I gave it to him, and he has earned it because he has proved it this year, basically averaging 31 points per game, which is ridiculous right now. But they need it. Steph Curry is a warrior. When you think about the Warriors, you think about Steph Curry because of his excitement, because of his dominance, because of his shooting and his scoring and showmanship. But it only takes you so far. You still need guys that can make plays. You still need guys that can defend. You still need guys that can get hot. And we've seen Oubre have some highlight games. We've seen Wiggin had some highlight games. But the consistent is Steph. Steph has been obliterating defenses for basically the entire season. And that was something that I believed that he could do, even though he came off a hand injury. And he has done it. From day one this season, he got off to a little rocky start with a shooting, but quickly that disappeared, and he looked at fantastic and amazing. He looks even better now, even though he came back from a tailbone injury. But will that be enough? We looked at Dame last year, and he was able to get a beat up, torn Portland team to the play-in, which got them into the AFC, which got them beat by the Lakers. But you kind of wonder what would be the point this year to make the A spot, just like last year, because if they make the A spot, what does that do? I don't see them making a run. I don't see them winning a championship. I don't even see them winning any first round series against most teams in the West, just because who is reliable on this team? Who can you depend on outside of Steph? We know that he can have these heat stroke games where he can obliterate you himself, and he has done it, throughout this season and throughout his career. But can you do that four times? Or can your teammates help you and balance it out throughout the series where you might go for 30 or 40, which we have seen the Warriors do this year, and they have won? The difference is you have better competition in the playoffs, as every team is either as good as you or better than you, depending on where you come in or where you at in the seeding. And the problem with that is the Warriors are not that good because they have lost Wiseman and they have lost other pieces on this team due to injury, or they just haven't played up to the expectations that we have thought. You have to give Wiggins some credit. He has improved. He has shot the three ball a lot better compared to his previous seasons in Minnesota and Golden State. They needed it because Steph can't do it all, especially if Oubre isn't going to hit shots. Somebody's going to have to do something because Draymond also doesn't hit shots or take that many, and he missed the layup today that could have helped him stay in the game and give him a shot to win. And if Wiseman isn't there, Then you don't have nothing really from Draymond, and you ain't really getting anything consistently outside or even scoring wise from Oubre every game. This team is a disaster. This team really depends on the play of Steph. If he can pass and get guys open shots and knock down his shots, they can be competitive. But you have to win consistently to be a playoff team in the NBA, and this team just hasn't been able to do it for a long stretch of the season. They have patches where they look good, they have patches when they just look like another team, and then they have patches where Steph is just being so good, like we see now, that they have a chance to win any game just because we don't know what he's going to do. But they have the fourth easiest schedule going down the stretch. Jaren Jackson Jr. will be coming back, but you can't expect much from him right away because he is going to be coming off an injury. Plus, he has to get, integrated back into the team and ready to go. And I don't know if he's going to be 100% because of that. And you do have the fact that you have teams underneath the Warriors that still have a shot to win the play-in tournament too and get a spot. But I think the Mavericks are fine. I think every team above them are fine. I don't know if I can lock in the Grizzlies as the eighth seed because we still do have to see can they steady the ship enough because they have been just like the Warriors, been good enough to win games, but haven't been able to do it consistently, which is unfortunate. But they're a young team. They already had a chance last year and blew it. I don't really think it helps the Grizzlies a lot this year either because they're not really fully healthy without Justice Winslows and those guys. It's not going to really be the same because those guys are not playing or they won't be playing their best. So we still have to figure out what the Grizzlies are and what they're going to be and who is going to be there for the long term as they build around Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson. We can say the same thing about the Warriors. Like, if this is the best the Warriors can do, Klay Thompson will help this team a lot. The problem is this team will look totally different next year because you can't keep this team this paid when they get this type of results. And even if Klay comes back, we can't put great expectations on him because he's coming off of Achilles and the ACL, and that takes time to get your feel back. That take time to get your shooting back, get your defense back, get your trust back, and everything. So he's getting paid like a superstar, but the expectation should be low for him first year because of those two lower leg injuries, which is just incredible just to go through, and the fact that he hasn't even really been playing because he has to rehab and he has to really just get back in the flow of everything because he's been out trying to get back on the court. So the Warriors are in a tough situation where they can't really pay any money because they got all these guys locked up to big deals already. Plus, they don't have any interesting things when it comes to picks or players that you really want. Wiseman has huge potential, but he's coming off a meniscus injury and he's a mobile big that isn't that strong or really that crazy defensively. So I don't really know what you look at him as a prospect, and you also not going to be bad enough to get a good pick as long as Steph is healthy. If Steph is healthy, you're going to always be in games, and if you in games, you winning those games, and you're losing some of them. So you're not going to get a lottery pick either. So they're in a tough situation where they're going to have to move somebody, and they're going to have to shake up some things if they want to get back in the championship form that they was in when they had Kevin Durant and before then. And it's tough. This team took years to get to the point where they can win the title, and they have already been 2 years in where they won't win one or even come close. And we don't really know how this team is going to even look next year. But for this year, I think that they still have a shot because of the play-in tournament. I think that they have a shot just because they have the fourth easiest schedule, but they're one Steph minor or mid minor injury away from just missing it. Because they a 3-4 game losing streak for being out. This team is already one game below 500, and they can't afford anything wrong to happen because they are already not good already, and they don't have a cushion to really absorb losses if they do come. So either this team is going to have to go on a marginal win streak, or this team might be barely in, depending on what they do against Memphis or whoever in that eighth spot if they can't lock it up before the season end. And even if they do get the eighth spot, that's still going to be tough because they have to hold it because of the play-in. So either way it go, they have to fight to get in or they got to fight to stay in. And I don't really see them beating any of the top 7 teams in the West in the series. And they're not going to be bad enough to get anything top in the draft. So they really do hope that Clay can come back and be even better than he was before. They need the Raptors Clay to come back. And I don't even know if that's enough as the West has gotten better. And the top of the West has gotten better compared to where the Warriors were then. And they don't have Kevin Durant at all now. But, the Splash Brothers are the greatest shooting backcourt in NBA history. And they are going to have the chemistry and they are going to have the fight. But the championship window could be closing for the Warriors if they don't get a huge acquisition that can change the trajectory of this franchise. Because the way they going now, they're going to be a great team in the West at best, but they want to win more ships with Steph. They want to re-sign Steph and win more ships with him, and they want him to be a Warrior for life. And that's what you have to sell to him if you want him to stay. And if that's the case, we're going to have to see them shake a lot of things up to get them back to this part where they fell. They was at the top and they fell to the bottom. Now they working their way back up to the top. Now we just got to see how they get there. Quinn Wade, basketball analysis, I'm gone. Let me know what you guys think about the Warriors. Will they make it? Will they not? Other than that, I'll be back to y'all another video Sunday.